Something that trips up a lot of entrepreneurs when it comes to finding a co-founder is that they're overthinking it. To find the right co-founder, it is about doing something that allows others to discover you. Just like a startup, the fancy PowerPoint slide, the killer LinkedIn profile, the amazing email introduction, that's only going to take you so far. You have to let your body of work speak for you. Show others that you are a builder and creator and not just a cheap talker. Put stuff out into the world, publicize it. If you're passionate about AI, build a chatbot. If you're solving a problem in your life, put an app out there. Spend your time building because good founders create their reality. They don't hold workshops on how to build a startup. They don't go around creating LinkedIn posts on some great idea. They build it first and then they talk about it later. Most people talk about it some more, and they never build anything of value. So if you're trying to make your mark and you're trying to find other co-founders, build something and put it out there. Other similar minded people will find you. People get stuck on finding a co-founder. Either they never find the right co-founder or they find somebody and the relationship crashes and burns in a few months. The way to avoid that is to treat co-founder relationships like romantic long-term relationships. I'm not saying you're dating your co-founder. I'm not saying there's anything romantic going on. But what I am saying is that there are common stages of life cycle like dating, marriage, and hopefully no divorce. What holds great relationships together is value alignment. What's important to you and to them. I'm not talking about personalities. You can be very different people. To be fair, you don't want to date or be with someone that's exactly like you anyways. Just similar values, but different in personality. It's about deep connection over superficial values. Maybe someone is exciting to you because you like the way they laugh, they're very attractive. So there are a lot of things that immediately draw you to a co-founder. But that stuff does not last. What really lasts is, do you have the same values? Are you able to handle moments of emergency or crisis together? And do you trust them with your product, with your idea, with $1 million, with your firstborn child? There are a lot of ways to analyze whether you trust them, but the biggest thing is to have an open line of dialogue and communication. Another thing that's similar to romantic dating is try before you buy. Can you spend a day or a week or a month with this person before committing to a long-term relationship? Can you talk through some of the most basic situations at work or in life to see how the two of you will respond? Are you able to learn and grow from being with this person? The reason that co-founder relationships don't work is similar to divorce. People grow out of it. People change. Maybe you've changed. Maybe values become misaligned over time. The way they write emails, the way they communicate, something that may just be annoying you on the first day. Think about how bad it becomes on day 3000, death of 1,000 cuts. So if there are small things that need to be resolved, you need to get a hold of the situation as early as possible. Think about all the ways that someone can fall out of love. Maybe there's no longer any trust. Maybe there's resentment that's building up. It's exactly the same. I think that the moment you reframe your co-founder relationship is when you are able to survive and achieve some level of success. It is by far one of the most important decisions and choices that you have to make in life. So good luck. And if you want to learn more about the world of entrepreneurship and finding co-founders and everything in between, please send me a DM. I will happily share more. There's actually a super hidden reason why most people cannot become an entrepreneur or even a freelancer for that matter. And if you can overcome this, you're over halfway there. No, I'm not talking about finding the right problem or building the right team or raising money. These are all very important things, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about something that's much more fundamental. And that is, most of us are just not comfortable talking about money, how much we're entitled to make, or how much we're worth. When you're negotiating your salary with a company, how comfortable are you truly to talk about that? The company is giving us a lowball offer. We have to go back and ask for something that we deserve. The whole song and dance is just not comfortable for a lot of people. It's the same when it comes to startups, because now you're having to hire people. You're having to discuss equity splits with your employees or with your founders. You're having to talk about how much you think your company is worth and even how much you're selling your product or service for. I think this is hard even when you're freelancing or consulting, because when you get asked, what's your hourly rate? How do you calculate it? And when you tell someone their hourly rate and they push back, do you stand your ground and do you say that you believe that's truly how much you're worth? Or do you give in, undersell, or undervalue yourself? There's this whole language around money and worth and time that most of us are just not well equipped to handle. So I really, really encourage you, before you start on your amazing venture or your amazing freelancing journey, yes, you may have the fundamentals down, but are you truly comfortable talking about money and worth and yourself? Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I was a startup entrepreneur for many years, and I mostly enjoyed the journey. But looking back on it, I would say that there were three things that really annoyed the heck out of me. The first one almost feels bad to complain about, and that is the talent level of your startup team is never going to be at the level of when you're working in a larger company. Coming from a background like Amazon or Microsoft, you're working with the best people, the smartest. They're all attracted to the company because of great salary and working conditions, and everybody, myself included, just grew up thinking that that was the place to be. So when you finally go out on your own and start building your startup, the founding team, including yourself, could be quite strong. But when you're trying to recruit talent, when you're trying to get people motivated, you may find it to be extremely competitive because number one, you can't offer them the same salaries and packages that larger companies do. So you have to really sell them on the vision. And I'm not saying that's an entirely bad thing. It's good to sell people on the vision. And that's almost like a test. It's every interaction you have is like a mini pitch. You're trying to sell the future of the company. And hopefully people are attracted to your startup because you have a bright future ahead. But it just means that 8 times out of 10, you're not getting the top talent in the industry, or you're getting unconventional talent that you have to harness, you have to build up, you have to train, and that takes time. Not to mention, you might have to deal with this reality that some of your brightest performers are going to get poached by other companies and they're going to leave at some point. So what is your fallback plan, your contingency? Are you training other people in the wings to take on the work and to spread it around? That's the million-dollar question. The second thing that I really did not enjoy when working on startups was just being in that environment and dealing with people whom I will call equity vultures. These are people that don't have any real ability, but they're always trying to hang on to other founders and companies, trying to get a piece of the action, a bit of the company or equity in exchange for doing not a lot of anything. These people are typically very good at selling themselves. They have a referral network where other people have vouched for them. Sometimes in my experience, they came highly recommended only to severely disappoint me after I started to dig into what they were about. You might even say that they have no principles. Every industry has its share of con men and women, but the world of startups seems to attract people like this, like flies. So for this, I would just say be really careful, do your due diligence, do the research, and don't ever give up equity unless it's absolutely needed. Unless you really feel like these people have something to offer. Otherwise, do not engage and do not spend time with these vultures. The last thing that I really didn't like about the world of startups, and this might feel a little entitled, but it's the idea that while you're passionately in this pursuit, there's a feeling that you have to prove to everybody who's skeptical that your idea actually has merit. I know you don't really have to do this, but it just comes up in conversations whenever people ask you, what are you working on? Why are you building this? And how viable is it? You're constantly trying to justify your existence. It's not just to investors. It's to friends, it's to family, it's to people that care about you, but they don't understand why you're taking on this risk. Because we're living this life of uncertainty, we feel this need to justify our existence to those around us. You have to look at your startup like a relationship or even like dating. The same way that I am not everyone's ideal partner. My startup is also not everyone's ideal company. It's also not the ideal solution to everyone's problems. It's like somebody once said, you have to be prepared to be misunderstood for long periods of time. And even after you made it, people may still not understand what you're about. And that's just life. don't feel like it's your personal quest to prove to everybody that they're wrong and that somehow you're right. Just continue building, keep hustling, keep finding a way. And that is what's going to be the most important thing in the end.